Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern County Water Agency, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and Bakersfield City School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
I'm Marty.
And I'm Chuck. If you need help with your math homework or if you're getting ready for a test, give us a call here in Bakersfield at 636-4357. Outlying areas such as San Luis Obispo, you can call toll free at 1-866-636-6284. You can email us questions. We have some today, I understand, at dothemath@kern.org. You can watch online, you can stream the show at dothemathonline.net, and you can look for us on social media also, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, you know what? A lot of different ways to get a hold of us. Before we get going too far, I want to remind everybody, well, actually, Serenity, if you're watching right now. Serenity was watching yesterday's program, I guess, on YouTube, and then made a comment that she needed some help. We can only help you when you phone into us on here, so we can't help you on YouTube. So the phone numbers are at the bottom of your screen pretty much throughout the program. Serenity, or anybody else for that matter, just give us a call at the phone numbers on the screen. We'll be more than happy to help you out. We can just have you work with one of the phone tutors, or if you'd like to, you can see it worked out live on TV. We have a lot of things going on. Marty, welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to have you back. Your tour of the world last year as you were spreading the good word of Do the Math and everything, and a lot of things going on. And I think we had Mary Lou at a school site yesterday, Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And I believe she did some cartwheels, and you're looking to do some gymnastics when you go to one of the schools.
Sure, yeah. Watch me land on my head. That'd be very entertaining.
Well, you know what? The kids will love it no matter what we
I'm
do.
sure they will.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Every time you phone in and we do one of your math problems on TV, your name is automatically entered into a drawing, and every single day we give away a family 4-pack to go see the Bakersfield Condors, as well as some other cool prizes.
Yeah.
We had Mike Olcott from the fair in here yesterday, so we have some fair tickets to give away. We also have some delectables from Johnny Rockets here in town. And if you call from the Central Coast, if you're in San Luis Obispo County, and you call from over there, you'll be going to Doc's, the ice cream lab over there, and you will get free ice cream simply by calling in and doing a math problem. But before we get to our math problems for today, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, today's Math in the News has to do with things that we see out and about every single day. Usually I put together a nice little PowerPoint, some sort of a presentation. I find something that is amusing to me, and I twist it and turn it until we can do math with it somehow. Today, we can get no simpler than this. This is a speed limit sign. Let's take a look at it. The speed limit. 2x is equal to 320 divided by 8, solve for x. That's the speed limit. Okay?
Wow.
So we see things like this out and about all the time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times you would see on marquees, maybe places have prices up, and maybe they don't have a decimal point, or they have a decimal point and a cent sign. Maybe they misplaced the decimal point. So there's lots of funny things like that, as well as spelling and things like that. We don't deal with the spelling here on Do the Math, though. We just look at the decimal points.
No spelling.
We'll make fun of it, but we won't correct any of that.
Right.
So let's take a look at the speed limit sign. So it says solve for x. Well, first thing we need to do is we need to take the right-hand side, get rid of those parentheses, and just solve that.
Okay,
So
simplify that,
320 divided by 8. So some students might be looking at that. Well, I need paper. we're doing this in our head.
Right.
Because as you're in your car, you need to do that in your head
Yeah,
as
you
you're
grab
going
paper.
by.
you're
In
gonna
a
get
second
pulled
and a
over.
half, yes.
So 320, we'll just make it 32.
Yes.
Divided by 8 is the 4. Add the 0 back on, we have 40. So we see 2x is equal to 40. Now,
Right.
we solve for x, we know that we need to divide each side by 2
Right.
so that we get the variable x by itself. So we divide 2x by 2, we get x.
Right.
We divide 40 by 2, we get 20. So the speed limit is 20 miles an hour.
Which means you're driving slow enough that you could actually probably figure that out.
Well,
while you're
hopefully
driving
you're
by the
driving
sign.
slow
Yes,
enough to be
Hopefully.
able to figure that out.
That's true, because you
And-
wouldn't know.
Probably in a neighborhood, maybe near a school, where you would be driving that speed anyway.
Right.
And somebody's little humor by putting that speed limit sign.
Unfortunately, somebody might be going too fast and only see the 320.
Right. Oh, I can go 320. Let's go. We're on the Autobahn.
Oh, Lordy mercy.
I mean, can you buy just a regular car that would even have anything close to that? John, you're a car expert.
200 you can buy.
200.
200 is the highest.
Wow.
You can go 200.
200 miles an hour. You have one of those.
Not that you can drive on the street.
Okay. But is he has one?
A production car, you can get a car that will go nearly 200 miles an hour.
All right. Now, what about your hot rod?
It'll run 200.
All right.
Wow.
You go past that? All right. Safe. We need
Not-
John Safe to stay here with us on Do the Math. Anyway, that is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Don't forget, toll-free, outlying areas of Kern County as well as San Luis Obispo County. That phone number is toll-free at 1-866-636-6284. Now, Chuck was mentioning that we had some email problems sent to us. So
Well, not
what we'll
email
do is,
problems, but math
problems
problems
through email.
sent
problems
to
sent
us
through
via
email.
email.
Well,
Yes.
I have email problems.
You have email
Yeah, we
problems?
all
Have you
do.
ever had an email problem?
I would never, no,
Oh,
never,
never
never,
had
ever had email problems.
You're a young lady.
You mean other than
Mine always
spam?
works. Right.
Yeah,
yes,
us old men, we have
yes.
problems with these emails. Let's take a look at what was sent in. We had two problems, and the students sent them in, and I'm assuming that they said, these are what I came up with as far as those answers they have on there.
To see if they're right.
And then they want to check to see if these problems were indeed done correctly. But I think number 5 is the one they were having more difficulty with. So who wants to take the first one?
Doesn't matter.
I'll do it.
All right, so would you like to do number 3 or number 5? And let me get this off of here for you.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, okay, that was from another problem, I guess. Okay, it does matter. That was the second one you said?
Right, let's go ahead and do the second one. So we have,
2/5.
Marty, you want to read it off?
Sure. 2/5 C plus 4 minus 1/5 C equals -9.
All right, so we're dealing with fractions. So let's deal with fractions and then let's see if we can get rid of the fractions. Because I have a 2/5 and a 1/5, and those are like terms. So I should be able to combine those pretty easily, even though they're fractions. A lot of students don't like to do that. But I can take 2/5 C, and if I read them together, I would write 2/5 C minus 1/5 C plus 4 equals -1. So now I can combine these like terms, and I get 2/5 minus 1/5 times C. And that's easy because I know that 2/5 take away 1/5 is 1/5 C. So there's combining my like terms. Plus 4 equals -1.
-9.
-9.
There you go.
I got a -9 there. I don't know where I got
It looked like a 1, kind of.
Must be the glare.
There it is.
All right, so now I could get rid of the fraction, but you know it's such a easy fraction, 1/5. I'm just going to kind of let that sit there, and let's deal with the 4 and the 9. And let's get that variable term by itself by subtracting 4 from both sides to get rid of that 4, and I still get my 1/5 C equals, now I've got -9 minus 4, or -9 plus a -4, if I want to think of it that way, which is nice because since they're both they're both negatives like signs, I'm going to add them together and carry the sign, so I get -13.
And that, I think, we'll just talk about that a little bit more because there are a lot of students that will put -5.
Yes, because that's 9 minus 4 to get the -5. So we have to be careful that because we have the same signs, whether they're both positive or both negative, we're going to add them together and then carry the sign. So if they were positive 9 and positive 4, I would get a positive, I'd get 13 and make a positive. If they're both negative, I add them together, 13, and carry the negative. If they're opposite signs, one positive, one negative, then I would subtract them. So you just got to be careful. And even though it says -4, I'm actually adding to get the answer. Now I've got 1/5 C equals -13. Now I want to get C by itself, so I'm going to get rid of that 1/5. And I'm going to do that by multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/5 is 5/1. Now I'll write it as 5/1 here because this is a fraction. But the reciprocal of 1/5 is the whole number 5, so I don't need the fraction over here, right? I write this as 5/1 just to cancel out the 5's here. But I'll just write that as the whole number 5. And so I get C all by itself because 5/1 times 1/5 is 1. That's 1C. And over here I get 13 minus 5. Well, I guess I could have just done this, huh? I could have just said, let's multiply that -13 by 5, which is 15 to the 1. That's -65. Looks like my answer for that problem. So it looks like C equals -65, and then I could pretty easily plug it back in, substitute in, and check my answer.
All right, nicely done. Hopefully that helps out the student that
their
emailed that
answer
problem
again?
to us.
Do you have
It
their
wasn't
answer?
that.
It
We'll pull it
wasn't
up in a
that.
moment
Oh,
because
okay.
we're going to take a look because
Interesting.
you may be
I kind
doing
of
the
want to
other one.
know how did they got that question,
Right.
that answer. Interesting.
And in studio with us right now, we have Dave Beard. Dave, you're going to do another one, but a little more difficult than that. Cool with that? All right, anyway.
Warming up on fractions.
Dave, nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Welcome onto our set of Do the Math. And you're with the Kern County Water Agency Improvement District number 4.
Yes.
If somebody worked for the Kern County Water Agency Improvement District number 4, what do you do there?
Well, Improvement District number 4, or we call it ID4 because
Okay.
not everyone wants to say Improvement District number 4 every time. We provide a supplemental water supply to the urban Bakersfield area. And so that is for a drinking water purposes. So we do that by importing water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta and either recharging it to recharge the underground aquifer or delivering it to our purification plant for treatment and delivery as drinking water.
Okay, so there are a lot of people happy with what you do because you're bringing drinking water to them.
Yes, I hope so. I
Okay.
hope so. If we're
And-
doing our job right, yes.
I'm not thirsty right now, so you are. Your position there.
I'm an ID4 manager.
So you are the manager at ID4.
Yes.
So kind of what are your responsibilities? What do you do? I mean, okay, you're the manager, but what do you do?
Well, so as I mentioned, we do have a purification plant. It's the Henry C. Garnett Water Purification Plant, and that requires a lot of different types of inputs and outputs. So whether it's to develop a budget, to make sure that we have the proper treated water chemicals, and those types of things, to make sure we have a water supply to treat. So those
Okay.
are all the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis.
Now, where is this? Because some kids may actually live close to it or drive by it and be able to take a look at this.
I think the best way to describe our location is if you know where the intersection of Golden State Avenue or State Route 204 and Highway 99, we are right in that general vicinity.
Okay, so as soon as they're up 99, they know where 204 is, right off of there.
Yep.
They can
Yeah.
look off, I believe, if you're heading north to the right.
Right.
And they can
And
see
one thing that
everything.
people notice is we have a large pond, which is our temperature equalization pond, which is actually very nice and picturesque.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, a
because
lot of
we were
people
out
do like
there.
to come in
It
and
was
they
beautiful.
want to take a walk around it, but that's the best way to locate us is to look for the pond on the side of on Golden State Avenue.
Okay, so you explained a little bit about kind of what you do on a daily basis. What kind of math are you doing? So are there some examples that kids might be like, yeah, we're studying this, or yeah, I've done that, I probably do some of that.
One thing we do a lot of is conversion. So if we have one unit, so if working in the water industry, a lot of people talk in acre feet. And so an acre foot, you have to know the amount of gallons in an acre foot if you're going to be converting that to another term that a lot of people like to use, which is our million gallons
Okay.
or gallons per minute or those types of things. Also, this day and age, we're talking a lot about water conservation. And so you might have a water provider that has to read a certain percentage reduction. So a lot of times we're working with percentages too.
Okay,
yeah.
so I think it was the city had to do a 35% reduction, I think. I heard on the
30,
news.
36, probably.
We needed to get to 36, and we had 35.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
why the fines might be coming out and things like that now.
Well, hopefully not,
What I
but
heard.
yes, but they're doing their best to reach the target.
So off the top of your head, I mean, I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing this out there. Do you know how many gallons are in an acre foot?
I do. I like to say it's about 326,000 gallons, but if you need to get exact answers, which a lot of times you do, it's 325,851.
Excellent. Yet, Manager Dave Beard right there.
Yeah,
You need
I know.
somebody that can be able to take
Yeah.
that and go, you know
I
what?
know.
I've got information right here.
Yep.
Now, if there's a student maybe in junior high or high school and they're like, you know what? It sounds kind of interesting what you do. I'd like to get into something like that. Is there something they should be studying in high school or maybe outside of high school, working, internships, volunteer, anything that they could be doing to help guide them on this career possibly?
Well, the water industry has quite a few types of jobs available or types of career paths available. One of the main thing, I guess the main thing that each of them have in common are really good computer skills.
Okay.
So you have to be willing to use a computer, both either for like word processing or even spreadsheets. I mean, we do so many things with spreadsheets nowadays. That's important too. If someone's studying, obviously someone that likes math, science, those types of things are important as well. With the purification plant, we have state certifications which are required. So if someone really wanted to become involved with to be a water treatment plant operator, there's a series of classes you need to take, and also tests you need to take, and those are heavy on math and science.
Is there a position that you have a lot of people working at? Like you have many different positions. Mm-hmm. Is there one that you need a lot of people for?
Yeah, so our plant, it is operated by a water treatment plant operator. And so that person has to be at the plant, or someone has to be at the plant 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we actually have quite a few water treatment plant operators on staff to fill those. And so we're always looking for new operators. And the training for operator does take at least 2, more like 3 years to get someone ready to operate a plant. So we're always looking for people to be interested, to be willing to come in and train so that they are ready to operate the plant when the time comes.
All right, well, you know what? It sounds like there's a lot of things going on, a lot of fascinating details, things we weren't all aware about, but that's why you're here.
That's right.
All right. You know what? 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Right now, Marty, I think what we'll do is we'll tackle the other half of that email that was sent to us.
With the decimals?
Let's go ahead and take a look at that one more time.
Okay.
Now, the person, what do we have? Negative 65, Chuck, is your answer on the last one?
Yeah.
I believe that was.
So we can see that they had x equals 4.5.
Except,
Or T.
except, I think T went to this problem and X
Oh,
went
I
to
think
the
T
T
goes
up
with
to,
the one
oh,
above
okay,
it.
so they're going
X must
beneath.
go-
So they didn't have the answer to that
They
one.
didn't
Gotcha.
even
All right.
verify.
So let's go ahead. So we helped them out with 5.
Let's see if their 4.5 is right then for this one. I
That,
think
that.
You'll verify this
we
right
will
now.
verify, definitely.
All right.
Okay, so here's the problem.
Go for it.
4.3T minus 2.1T minus 2.3 equals 7.6.
7.6.
Got a decimal in every one.
All right, got a decimal in every one. My favorite. Okay, so what we could do is we could just work through these decimals and just manhandle them, or we can actually see if we can get rid of them. And my favorite is like, you know what? I would like to make my life easier. It'd be wonderful if they weren't even here. So how do we get rid of them? If I moved the decimal place, which would be nice, but we'd have to figure out if we could. If I just move the decimal place and turn this into 43, that'd be awesome. If I turn that into 21 by moving the decimal place to the right, that'd be awesome. And then turning that into 23 and turning that into 76 would be amazing if I could figure out how to do that. And there is such a thing that could help you move a decimal place. And the beauty is multiplying by 10. 10 moves your decimal place one way to the right because it makes it larger by 1 digit. If you multiplied by 100, it would make it larger by 2 digits or 2 decimal places. So we're going to actually multiply everything by 10. And when I say everything, I mean everything, because we have an equal sign here, which means everything over here is equal to everything over here. So if I change this side at all, I have to change that side equally. So whatever I do here, I've got to do here to keep my equal sign valid and true. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 10 to everything. I'm going to distribute the 10 in. And 10 times 4.3, I'm thinking is 43. Let's make sure. So if I go off to the side and go 4.3 times 10, 3 times 0 is 0, 4 times 0 is 0. So far this is nice. Put your 0 here for your placeholder. 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 1 is 4, and then you add down. You get a 0, a 3, and a 4, but 430 can't be right. I remember that when you're multiplying the algorithm, multiplying by a decimal, you would move it 1 decimal place at the end. So my answer is 43. So if I multiply 10 times 4.3, I get 43. Super nice. And if I multiply 10 times negative 2.1, I get 21. Even better. 10 times negative 2.3, I get negative 23. And 10 times 7.6, nicely, I get 76. So I no longer have decimals. This problem looks nicer, prettier. Yeah, the numbers are larger, but we don't have decimals anymore. So we're going to do what Chuck did before. We're going to combine like terms. Now, in order to tell if it's like terms, it has to have the same variable with the same exponent. There's no exponents here. I do see 2 t's, so which means 43 and 21 are like terms, which means I'm going to go ahead and combine them. It's telling me to subtract, so I'm going to subtract 43 minus 21, and I get, what, 22? Is that right? Woohoo! Mental math, okay? 22, and then I subtract 23. I'm just going to actually bring everything straight down here. Sadly, I cannot combine 22t and 23. Problem is, they're not like terms. This guy's got a nice t. This guy doesn't have any t, which means I can't combine them. I'd have to multiply that out first and then subtract 23, but I don't know what t is. So without combining them, now I'm going to actually solve for t, which means I'm going to get t by itself. I have to move all the other numbers to the other side of the equal sign. So I'm going to start with 23. In order to move him over to the other side, I need to do the opposite of subtracting, which is adding. So I'm going to add 23 here, and again, I changed this side, so I have to change this side equally. So I'm going to add 23 here. Let's see here. 6 plus 3 is 9. 7 plus 2 is also 9. That's 99. That's nice. 23 and a 23 where one's negative, one's positive, makes 0, which is nice. So now he's gone, and I'm going to bring my 22t straight down. Now, in order to get t by itself, I need to get rid of the 22. And when they're smushed together like that, that's the same thing as multiplying. Go away. I don't know. Okay, we just stay there. You're cool. You can hang out. So I have 22 times t. So in order to get rid of my 22, I need to do the opposite of times, which is dividing. So I'm going to divide both by 22. 22 divided by 22 is 1. 1t is the same as 1 times t. So that's like 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 times 100 is 100. 1 times t is just t. So I don't need the 1 because I'm multiplying it by 1, which actually doesn't change my number. And that equals whatever 99 divided by 22 is. So that's fun.
Would you like to work that out, or would you like to know the answer?
What do you guys think? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm asking you, young lady,
Well,
what you would like to do. Would you
Isn't
like
that
to
a
go
silly
ahead
question?
and
Give
do
me the
it?
answer then. Shoot, you're going to give it to me? Let's go for it. What do you got?
It's between 4 and 5.
So were they right?
They
Is
were.
it 4.5?
Indeed.
Yay! They did a good job then on this one. So we checked one of them, and the other one, we helped them out. So hopefully they're watching, and they sent that in. That's a nice problem right there.
And
There
as
you
a
go.
reminder, also, if, let's say, for some reason they're not viewing the program live right now, it's on Facebook and YouTube right as soon as we're through recording, so they can go to it anytime they want to check it out.
All right.
So, how old are your kids right now, if you don't mind me asking?
The oldest is in 1st grade, and then I have my middle is in transitional kindergarten, and the youngest is 18 months.
All right, so
They're not doing fractions.
I was going to
or
say,
division.
when they get a little older, you can go back and go, hey, go to this on
I
YouTube
know.
or Do the Math Facebook page. You can
Yeah.
see me as doing this stuff.
We've been
This
doing
is
a
what
lot
they
of
were
adding
doing
and
and things like
subtracting
that.
now.
Yes.
Now, have you been in Bakersfield long?
Yeah, actually, yeah, all my life.
All your life. Okay. And what are some things that you're involved in? Are you involved in anything that you like to share with us in town?
working in the water industry, it seems like all my spare time spent on different types of water activities. So we do have a water education program with Improvement District number 4. If people want to learn more about that, I would say go to our website, kcwa.com. We also
One more time with the website.
kcwa.com. So
Okay.
KernCountyWaterAgency.com, but kcwa.com. We also, Water Association of Kern County is also another organization that I'm involved with that does provide various types of information and educational opportunities about the water supplies of Kern County.
So if there's some instructors right now watching, possibly in elementary school, and they're like, you know what, we want to do some water things in our classroom.
Yeah.
The websites they could go to are those, or
Yep.
those agencies, contact
If they
them?
go to our agency website, ID4 offers our education program free of charge to schools within urban Bakersfield. So all the teacher needs to do is go to our website and fill out an education request, and our educational consultants will contact that teacher and schedule an assembly.
Oh, perfect. And you know what, like you said, if anybody has an opportunity to swing by ID4, by that, is it the settling pond? Is that what?
The temperature equalization pond.
I do
Yes,
remember that, but it
yes.
was a couple of weeks ago
I
when
know,
we were out
I
there.
know.
So
Yeah.
But I do remember it was just, I mean, a beautiful setting
Mm-hmm.
out there. I mean, you wouldn't think that, oh, you're treating water out here, you just, you know, like industrial stuff or whatever,
Yeah.
but a beautiful spot out there. We're going to hold on to you for just a couple of more moments.
Sure.
Chuck, I've got a beautiful problem for you right now.
Beautiful problem. All right, that's not.
Indeed, I do mean beautiful.
All right.
Let's take a
What do
look
you
at
got?
this problem on the camera right now while Chuck gets ready. This is a problem that I know 150 students are at least working on, because this is the homework assignment I've given them. Okay? So they may be watching going, hey, you know what, let me check it out, I can get this done right now.
How long have they been working on this
They've had it for a
problem?
couple of days, so hopefully they're done with it, and a lot of students are already finished with it.
Okay, good.
So this is for ones that may be having a little bit of problem with it. So Maxine and Sammy have the same size lawn. We don't really care what size the lawn is.
Got it.
All right? Maxine can mow the lawn in 24 minutes. Sammy can mow the lawn in 36 minutes. At what time will Sammy have twice as much to mow as Maxine?
Okay, well, my first question would be, what time did they start? Because it sounds like they want to know what time, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
At how many minutes?
How many minutes?
How many
Okay,
minutes have
okay.
gone by when one will have twice as much as
Okay.
the other? If you would like to start this at 2 p.m., by all means, we'll
Okay.
start it at 2 p.m.
That was my first question, because it sounded like a clock problem like we had yesterday.
Oh, yesterday's problem. This isn't quite that complicated.
Okay,
So Maxine can do it in 24 minutes.
all right, so I guess what I'm going to do is I'll have them working, and I guess one way I could do it, the first thing I see is a work problem, so I want to try and set up an algebra problem, but how about if we just set up a table?
That would probably
And-
be
and
an
work
easy
it
way
that
for some
way.
others to understand it also.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a table. I don't know. It's gonna be. This is gonna be like how many minutes, and I guess I can figure who's it, Maxine and Sammy. So I'll have Maxine here, and how much work she's done, and Sammy. Can I assume that Sammy is also a girl? Ends
Why
in
not?
an E? So Sammy has that. So let's see.
Maxine can do it in 24 minutes.
24 minutes.
Sammy is 36.
And Sammy is 36 minutes. All
So
right.
at what point will Sammy have twice as much left to do as Maxine?
So I guess we were working with fractions, so I guess we could do fractions here. Let's see, I've got, did you say 24?
And 36.
And 36. So I guess I could go every minute and
I
figure out
would
what
advise
fraction.
against that.
I would advise against that. But let's see, I've got 24 and 36, and 6 goes into both 24 and 36.
Ding, 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 we have a winner.
So let's figure after 6 minutes how much of the job they've done.
I'm
How's
just
that
saying,
sound?
because if we went every minute, you would have to have at least 24 of these to do.
Right, and that's
If we did
that's a lot.
2, you're going to have 12. If we go a higher factor of 24 and 36, 6 is an easier one to deal with.
So let's try 6, because what I'm going to do is figure out what fraction of the job of mowing the lawn have they done after each interval of time.
Perfect.
So, as an example, after 6 minutes, right? She's done 6/24 of the job, right? 6 minutes out of the 24 minutes it takes her to do the job. So that's 6/24. 6 goes in 6 once, 6 goes in 24 4 times. So she's done 1/4 of the lawn. Sammy,
Which, well, before we go on, because we want to address the question, how much is left,
right.
not how much was done.
Oh, so the question
if
is,
they
at
did
what time will
1/4,
Sammy have twice as
There's
much lawn?
3/4 is left.
Right, she's got how much lawn to mow, right?
So we need to know that 3/4 is left.
So-
So maybe next to it, just put a
So I'll put
3/4.
3/4 here, and that's what's left. I'll put that in parentheses, right? So she's done 1/4, and she's got 3/4 left. How's that? So now Sammy's going to do 6 minutes, but it takes her 36 minutes to do the whole job. So after 6 minutes, she's done 1/6 of the lawn. And so I'll put over here what's left is going to be 5/6. So I'm trying to compare. It says, at what time will Sammy have twice as much lawn to mow, left? So Sammy's got 5/6 and 3/4. So I want this.
Right, to be twice.
I want this to be twice as much as this. Is that right?
Correct.
I want Sammy's fraction left to be twice as much as Maxine's. Okay. Well, it's certainly not twice. I don't know what fraction it is, but 5/6 is bigger than 3/4. I know that. Okay? So that's not my answer. So 6 minutes didn't work, so let's do 6 more minutes. How about 12 minutes? In 12 minutes, Maxine's going to do 12/24, right? Which is 1/2. That means she's got 1/2 left to do. Okay? And Sammy's going to do 12/36, which is 1/3, right? 12 goes into 36 3 times. And that means she's going to have 2/3 left to do. So 2/3 is more than 1/2, but it's not twice as big, right? I want this to be twice as big as that. So
Because twice as big, we'd be how much?
So twice of this would be the whole lawn
The
left.
whole lawn.
Yeah,
so we're not even close yet.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how close we are. 'Cause
Well,
I'm
we're
not
not
quite
there
sure how
yet.
much is
Well, we
changing.
don't want to go all the way to 24 because then we know, like you said, it's going to
Yeah.
be
In
completed.
24 minutes,
Okay.
Maxine's going to be
So
done.
it's got to be between 12 and 24.
Well, if you
Which
doubled the 3/4 originally,
Better
you'd
be
have
this
more than
one,
the
I guess,
original
huh?
one.
So
Well, I
let's
hope
see what
so.
happens
That'd be nice.
in 18 minutes. In 18 minutes, she's got 18 out of 24. Let's see, 6 goes into 18 3 times, and 6 goes into 24 4 times. So she's done 3/4. That means she's got 1/4 left. So she's done all but 1/4 of the lawn. That's a 4, by the way. Sammy is going to do 18 out of 36, which reduces to, well, nicely, 18 goes into 36 2 times, so that's 1/2. She's done half. That means she's got another half to do. Now I can compare these two fractions because I know that 1/2 is the same as 2/4. So 2/4 is twice as big as, believe it or not, that's a 1/4. 1/2 is twice as big as 1/4. So Sammy has twice as much left to do as Maxine, and was that the question?
Right.
In 18
At
minutes.
So
what
it
time?
looks
So
like
at 18 minutes.
The time is,
Or at
18 minutes.
2:18 if they start.
and if she started, and if they started at 2 o'clock, at 2:18 p.m. they would be done, or they would be.
Could we do an algebraic formula for that one? We probably could.
Wow.
Well,
Perhaps
it's
later
gone
we can
now.
do that.
Aw,
What did I do?
But we need
alright.
to, once again, remind students of the phone number at the bottom of your screen, 636-4357. Toll free, 1-866-636-6284. Dave, when you have some water delivered, approximately how long does it take for you guys to get the water, go through the process, and then get it out?
It varies. It depends on the flows, which are dependent on the time of year. So
Okay.
in the winter, obviously, it takes a lot longer than in the summer because winter demands are typically lower. Sometimes it can be as much as half a day, 12 hours, up to 2 hours. So it just really depends on how much water we're pushing through the plant.
Well, you know what? We certainly do
fast.
appreciate you taking some time to come out and
Yeah.
explain kind of what you do, what the water agency does, ID number 4, what you guys do, where it is, and things like that. And the science of cleaning drinking water. Well, pulling it from a source like the Kern River or pumping it from a well in the ground seems like a simple enough process. We find that purifying it is another matter. It's a complicated process we find in this special Do the Science series we call Do the Water. Today we're at the Henry C. Garnett Water Purification Plant in Bakersfield, and today I've got a couple of partners with me.
I'm John Soper from Garces Memorial High School.
I'm Olivia Belda from Centennial High School, and John and I are part of the Dream Builders in Forward Dimension program at the Jim Berg Forward Education Foundation.
And it is time now to go with the flow on this edition of Do the Science. Well, here at the Water Purification Plant, we might as well start at the beginning with the head man himself. Dave Beard, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you. What is your official title with the purification plant?
I am Improvement District Number 4 Manager. Improvement District Number 4 has a number of functions, but our primary mission with the district is to provide a supplemental water supply for the urban Bakersfield area. And one of the primary ways we do that is to take untreated surface water, or we'll call it raw water, and bring it to the Henry C. Garnett Water Purification Plant for treatment and delivery as drinking water to customers within the urban Bakersfield area.
Okay.
Dave, I'm interested. How'd you get into that field?
So for undergrad, I graduated with a degree in economics, and then I went to graduate school and got a degree in environmental science and management. But that environmental science degree also had a specialization in water resources management, and then the Kern County Water Agency had an opening with Improvement District Number 4, and that's how I got here.
Well, we're at the very beginning of everything, and we know how you got started in your role here. This is the equalization pond.
Yes.
What is going on here?
Okay. Well, behind us is the temperature equalization pond, and it does have a few functions. One of the primary functions is to allow an initial settling. So when we do bring the untreated or the raw water in, if there's any large particles that'll just settle out via gravity, that's one of the functions of that. We like to try to keep the temperature of the water constant or equalized. So if we do switch sources, that'll prevent potentially damage to your facilities or infrastructure. We are unique here where we can treat water from 4 different sources. We are a state water project contractor, so if we are treating that water actually comes from the Sacramento and San Joaquin Delta. We also are able to exchange water with Kern River interests and treat Kern River water. We can treat groundwater, and we can also treat water off Central Valley Project Frank Kern Division. So
we've got a lot of spots that the water comes from. A beautiful spot you've got out here, a lovely place to work, tranquil. You must just like to come and hang out every once in a while.
Exactly. But that is also one of the things we have to look out for is people do want to come and hang out at the pond. This is actually part of our water treatment process, so we can't really have any unauthorized folks kind of hanging out or fishing or even swimming in the pond.
Well, we won't hang out too much.
Yeah, exactly.
We know where the water comes from. Let's go check out where it's going to.
Okay, let's go.
Well, Dave, we saw where the water came from, and there's a lovely buzz in the air, so we know things are working right now. Right now, we're in the raw water pump station. What exactly is going on in back of us?
Well, with the raw water pump station, we need to have a way to physically move the water from the temperature equalization pond to the purification plant. And so this is the facility that was constructed to do that.
And how many pumps do you have in here?
Presently, we have 4 pumps. Most cases, they don't all operate at once. So it does provide us a nice measure of redundancy should we have one go down due to mechanical or electrical issues. But typically you have 2, maybe 3 operating at one time.
Dave, we have a lot of water out there, a lot of pumps in here. Exactly how much water is going through this facility?
Well, that is a good question. It really depends on the time of year that you're in. If you're in the winter time, kind of the cooler months, you'll see flows as low as 14 million gallons per day. But then if you get into the summer or the higher demand, the peak months, you can see flows up to 80 to 90 million gallons per day.
Put that in perspective for us. That's a lot of water, a lot of gallons. Exactly how do people in the industry measure how much water is transferred and how much we get in our homes?
It is. We do speak a lot about million gallons of water here, but then we also speak about water in terms of acre feet. 1 acre foot is the equivalent of almost 326,000 gallons. And that typically is enough to serve a family in the Central Valley for a year. If you're more of a visual person instead of a numbers person, you visualize a football field with water on top of it that is 1 foot deep. and that's as much water as a typical household uses in a year.
Sure.
So we know how much water is being pumped through here, and this is all of the water from the equalization pond.
Yes.
Now that you've got the water in here, how many different places will it go from here?
Well, from here, it will go to the purification plant for treatment. There's a number of treatment steps that we go through at the plant. But then from there, after the water's been treated to drinking water standards, it'll go to one of 4 customers of the Kern County Water Agency Improvement District number 4. And that will actually serve most portions of urban Bakersfield, to the east, to the north, and to the northwest.
All right, so you're covering a lot of area, and let's go find out now where it's being chemically treated.
Sounds good.
All right, let's go.
And for a molecule of water to start here at the flash mix and get through the treatment plant, at the low flows, it would take about 5 hours. And at the higher flows, about 50 million gallons a day, it would only take about 2 hours.
And I'll tell you, it was just beautiful out there. I mean, we spoke with Dave just moments ago about this, and then actually being out there, going through that whole process, fascinating, lovely time out there. And once again, thanks to everybody over at ID4 for inviting us out there and helping us put that together with Do the Water. So just a fabulous time out there, as well as the students from the Jim Burke Ford Foundation were out there helping us with that also.
Cool.
We had 2 students out there helping with the program, and they did an excellent job as well.
Very cool.
Well,
So-
water is on everybody's mind now with the drought and everything, so
Yeah.
it's
Right.
really interesting to find out what they have to do.
And it's just, I mean, you see in the news all the fires in California, and then you see other places in the world with the floods and
Yes.
all the water, and just other parts of the country with so much water they can't even use it all.
Right.
But just one of those things right now. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. As a reminder, when you phone in to do the math and we do your math problem on TV, your name is entered into a drawing. That drawing every day is for a family 4-pack to go see the Bakersfield Condors, and we have some other great prizes to give away as well. So you never know what you can win.
Never
but
know.
there's always something available.
But you gotta
Simply-
call in.
That's right. That's all you have to do. And a lot of students are like, well, I'm not home at that time to watch. I can't be on my TV to watch it. You don't need to. Simply go to dothemathonline.net. You can watch anywhere as long as you have internet access. You can view the program, call on your phone. That's what I forgot. I was speaking because Channel 17 was in the other day, yesterday, to do a little thing about Do the Math and Common Core with adults and how they aren't doing problems the same way as their
Yes.
students. And there's like conflict. Well, that's the way I learned how to do it. Well, it's not the way we knew how to do it now, and I need help with the way we're doing it. And we took care of that yesterday a little
Yes.
bit. But the reporter was amazed that elementary school kids have cell phones.
Really?
Okay. And I was saying, you know, I wonder how low they go where they have cell phones. So I need to remember to check the school and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to go down to the kindergarten room and I
Right.
want to see how many of those kids have phones. Because if even one has it, then I've made my point
Right.
that you can go as low as kindergarten, those kids will have phones right there.
Yikes.
Anyway, we're going to go to the
Yikes.
phones right now. We'll see if Palmer's on a cell phone or a landline. Palmer, how are you today? Oh, let me turn up my, are you there, Palmer? So it wasn't my earphone. We do have Palmer online, right? Student from Stockdale Elementary School? Palmer's there? Hello, Palmer?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there he is. All right. Hey, they almost cut you off. Maybe they did just then. I don't know. Palmer, are you still there?
I'll take this.
Yes.
one.
Okay, perfect. You're a student at Stockdale Elementary, and you are in 6th grade, correct?
Correct.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay, so I have 8 outside the parentheses, and then parentheses 3n minus 2y, close parentheses, plus 4, and then I have bracket, parentheses, negative 3n, close parentheses, plus 4y, close bracket.
An excellent problem.
Very well read as well.
Okay.
That was perfect.
It was very well
Yeah.
read. Let me see how good a job I did of writing it down now.
Yeah.
Do I have it? 8 parentheses 3n minus 2y, close parentheses, plus 4 brackets, parentheses, negative 3n plus 4y. Is that correct?
Yes,
Got it?
correct.
Oh, I'm
All
surprised.
right. Good job.
Good. All right. So we need to simplify this. Is that what it says?
Yes,
So we're going to simplify it by removing parentheses and combining like terms, right?
correct.
Now, one thing that you have to notice, and a lot of students try to do this, there's nothing to solve, is there? Right, Palmer? It's not an
Correct.
equation, so we're not going to try to solve for n or solve for y. All we're going to do is simplify this and write a new expression. So we'll have n and y in our answer, won't we?
Yes,
Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify this by removing parentheses first, and then see what we have. So let's go ahead and use these grouping symbols first, and we'll distribute that 8, correct?
yes.
So we have 8 times 3n, which is
24n.
24n. Interesting. And 8 times 2y is going to be
Negative 16y.
16y minus, right? So there's the first parentheses, and I moved that over so we don't run out of room here. Now let's come over here, and it says plus, so I'm going to go plus, and now when I distribute over here, I get 4 times negative 3n, which is what?
Negative 12n.
So I'm going to still use parentheses, but the parentheses here is just to separate that negative from the plus sign. Negative 12n, and then 4 times 4y, which is
16y.
16y. So all we have to do here is just be careful, right? Just make sure we do the multiplication correct. Make sure we keep track of the signs. Positive, negative. I'm adding a negative and then plus 16y. So that's really important that we keep track of everything and make sure that we have 2 terms from this one and 2 terms from that one. Now we've got our like terms, and sometimes, and I don't know if your class or your book does this, but sometimes they'll rewrite this problem. And they'll take the 24n and rearrange these two to put the like terms together. Now, I can write this as plus negative 12n, but that's the same as minus 12n, isn't it?
Yes,
So I could write that as minus 12n. So if I switch those around, I'm going to have minus 16y and plus 16y. So all I've done is I switched those two around. That's the commutative property. And I wrote that plus and negative as a minus. So now we've got like terms here. We've got 24n minus 12n. Well, that's pretty easy,
which
right?
is positive 12n.
Positive 12n. And I've got minus 16y plus 16y, which gives me,
It just cancels out.
cancels out, and it actually gives me 0 if I want to write the term, but 0 is just 0. So it just cancels out, and it looks like this all simplifies down to, with all of those terms and parentheses and brackets, to just 12n.
Nicely
problem.
done. Are you still online with us, Palmer?
Yes,
All right. Let me ask you this, Palmer. Have you ever been to the Kern County Fair?
I have.
Is there anything that you particularly like or you need to go see or eat or ride or anything when you go to the fair?
Actually, yes.
What is that?
Their deep pit sandwiches are really good.
The deep pit sandwiches. You know what? That is excellent that you bring that up because we have a favorite deep pit sandwich that we enjoy when we go over to the Central Coast. Moe's is excellent food right there. Still trying to get a hold of Moe's, see if they would like to sponsor the program a little bit. But anyway, we'll take care of that another time. Palmer, what we're going to do is we're going to send you to the Kern County Fair, courtesy of our friends over at the fairgrounds, as well as Mike Olcott. And thank you for phoning in this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, have a nice afternoon. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Funny that they show those animals.
Need to get a duck up there for this year, don't we?
That's right. Yesterday he was talking about the duck with the duck races
duck
and things
races.
like that.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.
For many students, a week at Camp Keep is the signature field trip marking the final year of elementary school education. Here, the classroom has no doors, and instead of bookwork, there's lots of footwork. Daily hikes give students an opportunity to see.
Dude! Did you see that? Oh, I should have got a picture.
And even touch the elements.
I think that's maybe one of the skeleton shrimp.
And wide variety of life forms that converge here at this special place on Earth. From rocky intertidal zones teeming with invertebrates to the birds and seals that make the estuary at Morro Bay home, complex environmental concepts are within grasp and become easy to understand.
Teachers and books and movies can tell you so much, but being out here in a tide pool and feeling the texture of a sea star, feeling a sea anemone, having a crab pinch your fingers, I mean, this is something that any kid would want to do, to be outside. This is what kids are supposed to do.
It's a week away from school, but you're still learning stuff, and you're learning it really fun.
Morro Rock is the center of an ancient volcano that didn't get to erupt for 23 million years. Can we erupt yet?
Really, this is a one-in-a-lifetime experience because once you think about it, you're looking at the largest ocean in the world, and nature is beautiful.
Everything that we do out here is based on the standards, the California Science Standards, but the difference is that instead of reading about a sea star and its adaptations to survive in a tide pool, they go down to a tide pool, pick a sea starette, and get to see for themselves and learn for themselves.
For some students, the spectacular setting brings out the best in them.
Most of the kids who have trouble in the normal classroom environment actually do an excellent job at Camp Keep. The kids that have trouble sitting still and a little bit more wiggly really enjoy actually getting to be out and move around a little bit more. So the classic behavioral problems that you'd have in the classroom tend to disappear in the out of doors.
In fact, a week at Keep is so much fun. Campers don't always realize they're actually learning.
We saw crabs, hermit crabs, and rock crabs. These little fish that's less than an inch. They're very hard to find.
Crustaceans and other sea animals. Some of them are kind of sticky and they feel like jello.
Can I see your moss? Will you pull your moss over here?
For the scores of students who call Keep home for a week, the experience here is one they'll never forget. For more information, visit us online at campkeep.org. To schedule a week for your students, call 661-636-4646.
Yet another beautiful spot over in San Luis Obispo, over in that area, Morro Bay, with Camp Keep.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had an opportunity to go over there?
I went to Camp Keep when I was in 6th grade.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Well, you're not that old yet. That's all right.
Awesome.
A lovely time it was, I'm sure.
Yes, it was
All right.
fabulous.
Well, you know what? Getting presents is another fun time. Which one of you wants to work on this present problem?
I'll do the present problem.
All right, here we go.
I like presents.
There are 4 brothers opening presents.
Okay.
The oldest brother received $10 more than his next younger brother.
So oldest brother, I'll call him number 1.
He received $10 more than the next younger brother,
Okay.
who received $10 more than his next younger brother,
Okay.
who received $10 more than the youngest brother.
Oh my. Okay. Well, the way I'm setting it up is not helping at all. So we all received $10 more. So the oldest receives the most.
$10 more.
So he
Right.
would receive the most, yeah? So
He
like,
received-
let's say he received 50, then the next youngest would be 40, and then the next would be 30, and the next would be 20?
Correct.
So
So,
that could
those
work,
are the
right?
4 brothers. Now
So did I
the
get it?
total.
Oh.
Oh, no, not that easy,
Wasn't that
sister. I
easy?
tell you right
Oh.
now. The total comes up to $504.
So total meaning add them all up and
When
it
they
should get
got all
504.
the money together, it added up to
Well,
$504.
Let's check where we are. How close am I with
I
my
will give
random
you
guess?
3 minutes
Oh, 3 minutes? Okay.
because we have another problem to address.
Okay, so 30 and 20 is 50. So 50 and 50 is 100. That's 140, but I want what? 504?
Yes.
Okay, so that's not going to work. So instead of going 50 and then minus 10 is 40 and then minus 10 is 30 and then minus 10 is 20, let's assume I don't know the youngest guys, but I do know that this one's going to be 10 more than the youngest guys, right?
Yes.
And then this one's going to be 10 more than
Or 20
that.
more than the other one.
So yeah, it'd be 10 more than 10 more of the youngest guys, right? And then this one, so that's the third child. And then the fourth one would be 10 more than 10 more than 10 more of the youngest child, which I don't know. Is that right?
Correct.
And you
But
have
it
a
all
little
has
over
to-
100 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so question marks, I'm going to call that n because I don't know what that number is. So this would be 10, 20, 30 plus n plus 20. Whoa. Okay, or click that. 20 plus n plus 10 plus n.
You missed an N there by the 30.
Thank you. There we go. Plus n, and that should equal 504. So we've been doing combined like terms and solving equations all day, so I'm going to throw this real quick.
You missed a plus sign between the 10 and the N.
That,
10 plus n?
There we go, not 10n, that would be crazy.
Okay.
So 30 plus 20 plus 10 is 60, is that right?
Yep.
N plus n plus n plus n is 4n, which makes sense because there's 4 brothers, and that's supposed to equal 504. So if we scroll down here, subtract 60 to solve for n, what is 504 minus 60?
444.
There we go, 444 equals 4n. Ooh, that's nice, that's a lot of 4s. Divide everything by 4, is that 111? No.
Yes, 111.
Is it? 111. Is that it? Did I get it?
The question is, how much did the oldest brother
Oh
receive?
my goodness, the oldest brother?
And
so
you
wait,
have
he's 30
30
plus
seconds
n.
to do this.
Wait, he's 30 plus n, so I just add 30 to that. So that's 141. Smiley face, done. Yay.
You did it with 10 seconds left to spare. Look at that. Nicely done. All right. You know what? The reason I had you do that quickly is because we have a problem that came in, and it came in on our Facebook page. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. Timothy sent this in.
Okay.
It's a pattern, and he wants to know what the next number is. So we start off with 19.2.
19.2.
Then 3.84.
3.84.
Then 0.768.
0.768?
Correct. And then 0.1536.
Really? Okay.
You have 1 minute.
Obviously, I'm not subtracting the same thing because I have to subtract 16 to get to that, and that's not going to get me to that. So subtracting is not going to work, so I'm going to try dividing.
Okay.
Let's see if it's geometric. So if I take 19.2, what do I have to divide 19.2 by to get 3.84? So I'm going to ask somebody over there with a calculator.
We got a calculator. So 19.2 divided by
3
5. Yeah, so we divided
is
19.
5,
Yeah,
right?
so it's
So
5.
if I take that and divide by that, I get 5. So 19.2 divided by 5 gives me that. So let's see if it works again.
Okay, 3.84 divided by 5, that is 0.768.
So if I divide that by 5, I get 0.68. So if this works, we're done, right?
Yep. So divided
So
by...
if I divide this by 5, it looks like we get 0.1536.
Correct. And then the
so
next
we
one...
need the next one is 1.1536 divided by 5, right?
0.03072.
0.03072.
072. Blam.
There you go. So
That-
Timothy, we solved that problem for you. We will not reply to you on that right now because all you'll have to do is take a look at the program, which will be uploaded on Facebook and YouTube. Watch it at your leisure. Your problem will be at the very end of the show, so you can kind of, I don't know if you can fast forward or not through it. Anyway, there you go. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern County Water Agency, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, and Bakersfield City School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.